Oh, 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 oh. What? You come in, you're like, huh, interesting. Yeah, I just started. I was having some technical issues.
Richard's looking good.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's a good start.
It's cool.
It's coming. Yeah.
The camera's not on.
Huh?
Hey, now this is how I sound.
Is that good? Nope. That's it.
You made him a little too pink.
I made him too pink.
Yeah.
Probably did.
He's got more yellow in his skin.
Okay. All right. There we go. Can you hear me now? You can? Okay. Is it clear? Because I'm not sure if it's coming from like the right microphone. It's been bugging out all morning. It's kind of strange. Awesome. Good. Yeah, it's one of those mornings where I'm having a ton of technical difficulties. What do? You work through them. How's your weekend, Brack? Yeah, right? They end quickly. It was good. I had a nice weekend. It was relaxing Sunday. And Saturday I was working all day, but it was good. Can't complain. So I'm hoping that the setup for you guys is a little bit better because I put some light on the painting so that you can see it, because I noticed that it was a little bit dark when I watched the stream after I did it on Thursday. And so I put more light on the painting, but for me, it changes how I see it. And so it looks a little bit too light, which I have quite a bit of light going on. So I'm trying not to darken certain areas too much. But I did notice, because I was painting kind of in the dark, I did notice that there were areas that I had made too light. So I have to go through and kind of adjust the values. So it's a little bit tricky. And once I get the hang of the lighting setup in the stream, it should be a little bit easier and more consistent. And I won't have to make these corrections. Okay, Rose, can you help him out? Hey, Rose, can you help him out? Yeah, thanks.
You want to laugh at her? Let me get a key for you.
Here we go. So I'm watching my dad today, and so and he has some memory issues, so I have to watch after. Unfortunately, my friend Rose here is here to help me out while I do the streaming, which is good. So I'm still trying to use as big a brush as I possibly can. Oops. Oh, you know, I'm not quite sure what it is. It's probably Alzheimer's. But yeah, he has some dementia. But, you know, it happens. I think it runs in our family some. You know, of course that's concerning. You know, it sucks getting old, I tell you. But, you know, you do what you can. Yeah, he still has a sense of humor, which is kind of nice. He's always trying to beat me up. Hey, Randall. And you should move back to the east. And what you're doing out there in the west. Yeah, and you wouldn't be saying good early morning. Weird background noises, are they? Yeah. Well, it's Rose and my dad. Dad's here in the studio with me. I see his. Ooh, brushes. Hey, Rose. Can you do me a favor? Can you get the small brush thing and just bring it over here? I need that.
What small brush thing?
The one in the
This?
Yeah, that.
That whole thing?
The whole thing. Is it stuck?
Yeah.
It is?
I got it. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting. Oh my gosh. Where do I put this? Ah! Time to get small brushes. Dad,
What?
Barack says hi.
Who's
Barack is a gentleman who's watching the stream, which I'm recording live, and it's going over the internet. We talk, we converse, and we talk about you.
Meg.
And yes, that is Schluggy and JJ. We talk about you, Dad. Yeah. There we go.
I don't have much to talk about.
I'm just sitting there. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Huh?
Stuff.
You say what, Dad?
I like to take out stuff.
You like to take out stuff like the trash?
Get good trash.
Mm. Do you think that's a little bit weird?
No?
No? All right. What am I doing with the painting when it's done? It'll probably go to the Uffizi in Florence, I'm guessing. Normally they try to get my work. Got a lot of offers. Musée d'Orsay, the Louvre, right next to the Mona Lisa, just as comparison of how far we've come in portraiture. I don't know. Really, honestly, it depends on, depends on how much they offer me for it, Zach, I'm pretty sure I saw one of your paintings at Goodwill. Shut up, jerk. Did it have happy trees? You're a happy tree. Your face is a happy tree. You guys tormenting me. You see, I'm serious. I'm about serious business here. I'm changing the artistic world. Jerks. Why can't I get this right? My brush strokes are weird. Brush is weird. Squint down. Key is to squint. Kind of like when I look at your face, automatically squint. What do you have to say about that? That's right. The problem is that there's a delay in the stream. So what I say takes a little bit, of time for you guys to acknowledge and respond. It's kind of like in real life. My brain is much quicker, far superior. And I always have to slow myself down for everybody to catch up. So the stream is very, very similar to that. Schluggy has headphones on right now, so she can't hear what I'm saying. So what am I doing now? Like insofar as the painting, looks like light work. You mean like working the lights or just not working that hard? I don't know how to take it from you. I feel like I always have to be on guard. Working light, how it hits areas, yeah. So when I started, I have an extra light that I put on the board, which makes it look lighter for me, but it helps with the stream because I noticed it was too dark in the stream, so I put some light on it. So I'm making some light and dark adjustments, which is a little bit tricky. And I'm also trying to go through and work the drawing up a little bit more than I have it, like from the last time, and add color in and just work on transition. So yeah, working on the light some. And when I'm working on the light, I'm trying to not blend it as much on this as I am going through and mixing separate values and then putting them on so it has a nice solidity of form and an enhanced color. So yeah, working the lights, adjusting darks. So I mixed that value right there, that transitional value between the two, to try and make this flow up into the eye socket. That's what we do. That's what we do. There we go. You get very precise with your brush strokes. You gotta squint, squint, keep on squinting. I will put some light on now, but I will use a clean brush. Use a small one. Just a little bit. Add some color. Dip in medium. I can't put the medium on this, otherwise it falls off. It's just liquid. This is going to be very light. Maybe too light, but that's okay. We can blend it in. That's very light. I'll do some transitions. Bring it out some. Bring some of it up here. So very cool lights, cool light values up top. Let's paint with the form, shall we? Yes. These happy little brush strokes. The light is supposed to ever so slightly trickle down the forehead. Maybe I can push that highlight some. We don't know yet. Painting's so peaceful. Shall. Yes. Now, we work on the transitions. Observe how the light flows from the forehead out. Just fades into darkness. Just like Randall's soul. Okay. Can't see what I'm doing. Is that light? Yeah, okay, I'm going to bring the light up. Oh, there. Yeah. Okay. Be the brush. brush. Be the wooden brush. That's not it. Mhm. Okay. Hey, Carmine. How are you doing? Welcome to our magical little world of painting.
Mhm.
Probably blocking the camera. That's my setup. Good. BOH. I should know what that is. What is it? What are you laughing at, old
I
man?
was looking
Huh?
at you at the bottom. The bottom.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's about this big.
What is?
About this big.
Uh-huh.
And that way.
Oh.
That's it. Down there.
Gotchas. Gotchas.
Trying to get you to get the best.
I'm doing fine, Carmine. I'm watching over my dad in the studio right now, making sure he doesn't cause any trouble. And streaming at the same time. Life is so easy. Okay. So good. Let me check something really quick. I can see. Yeah. There we go. Oh, that's another one. That light. Whatever. Oh, you have it set to Italian? You speak Italian? Moletti. Huh? I know you don't speak it, old man. Nah, you could understand it, though, growing up in an Italian family I was speaking.
Got it. Yes. We get very well.
I was speaking. I really need to fix this setup next time. That's too low. Naples, Napoli, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Ci sono stato molto tempo fa. Solamente queste 2 volte. Dimentico. I forget how many times I've been there. I forget. So well traveled. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Good stuff. Say bo. That's what you meant. Bo. 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 So. So I've transitioned down to the more precise, smaller brushes, which for this size painting is okay to do. That's too dark. It's okay. Lighten it up. It's also too reddish. Makes the light pop when you darken certain areas. But ideally, I don't have to darken. I slowly bring the light up. But like I said last week, I didn't have enough light on my board. So to my eye, I was like, it needs to be brighter. So I made everything too bright. And in the stream, though, it was still appearing dark because there's not enough light on it. The camera doesn't pick up light as well as our eyes does. And so it was a little bit of a mess. Now, that didn't make much sense, but I'm just going to have to deal with that. That's what happened. Okay. Maybe bring that up. Okay. All right, and Gingy, I'll see you, buddy. Some of this actually work. What do you think I'm doing? Are the proportions right? Probably not. Limo art. Probably not. You tell me what you see, and I'll correct it if I agree. I'm correcting the values right now because I didn't have the lighting correct the last stream, and so the painting was actually a little bit lighter than it should have been. And so I'm going through darkening certain things, which is a little bit difficult to do, so to get the light. Hey, Ronanthem. Hey, it's good having you here. Okay. It's too dark. It's too light. Let's do this. Brushes. I am half inclined to make another value in between these two because I feel like it. So, wish I could make this darker, but it's not really worth it. to get my brushes mixed up. Should work. So I've gone through and darkened some of the midtones in the darker areas, which is going to make the lights pop. But I also need to work the transitional values up from the darks to the light. And that's what I'm working on while trying to correct the drawing at the same time, get the transitions properly, get used to this lighting that's a little bit different on my end on the painting. So this transition right here is obviously very much incorrect and a little bit distracting. So instead of going through and blending, blend, I go through and mix a midtone value that will help maintain the color and help enhance the form, because you're actually drawing a plane where the light's breaking across a plane, across a curve right now of the face. That's what we're doing. So, and I don't want to go over mottled, and that needed more red. Go through, add a little bit of red. So we're fixing the form, the drawing, and trying to get the color at the same time. I'm working, instead of painting this way, which I could do, I'm going across the form. I like to vary it. I just like to switch it up, put some variety in. There you go. So another thing I do, this needs work, but I can also say to myself, all right, well, I have this transitional brush right here. Where else can I apply it? All right. And I'll go up in the nose a little bit, but I'm going to add a little bit of red to it. This transitional brush, let's see if you can see it here, is like a little bit smaller. You can compare it to my hand, but it has that nice tip to it. And I'm kind of using it on this side right here and kind of going across like that because it makes a nice effect. So sometimes I'll choose my brushes, the values, based off of its shape, which is really what you should do. They're not all the same. Some brushes, some days have better shapes than others, depending on how you wrapped it the night before. So, yeah. Now, I'm just barely touching the board. This is wood. Barely touching. And honestly, I'm still trying to get the drawing. The drawing is not correct here in this area. Obviously, it needs to be a little bit lighter. So you don't always need to smooth everything out. I don't like things smoothed out too much, and I tend to do that a lot. I'll go through and overmodel and smooth things out, and I don't recommend that. This drawing, I'm trying to make a little bit, give it more form and more boldness to it, just by going through and putting the brush stroke on. Very thick. I'm trying not to work it in too much because by nature you kind of want to. Okay, so let's go through, squint, get the impression. Can't bring this down too far. Slowly drop it some. I'm kind of looking at this bottom, this transition at the very bottom, which needs to come down. just a little. Drawing needs to come out just a little bit right there at the top to make it a little bit fuller. And then because I lighten this looks too dark, and that makes sense. There's the contrasting value. But before I go through and throw this away, I'm going to go and work the side of the crease in his cheek. Just a little. I'm just barely touching it, and I'm going this way, going that way. I could go down like that, but I want to try to get it this way because it gives it nice form when you can get it like that. All right, and then up top, let's just go through and apply a little bit up here, soften that. When I squint down, let's see what we can do up here. When I squint down, this is a little softer, and the light comes up some. Really, if you look at the brush stroke, I'm looking at the top edge of the brush stroke because then I can come up with the light on the bottom edge. So I'm essentially looking at the top part of where I'm painting as it transitions up into the dark. And there needs to be more of a transition, but we'll work on that. Okay, I'm going to go in with a smaller brush for this transition down here. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, but it needs to be slightly darker still. I'm going to go across this time. Let's try to go across. Okay, it's looking a little bit squarish. This definitely comes down. Just touch it a little bit, and that comes down. I mean, it's getting there. It's generalized. It's lost its drawing. So I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to rest my eyes and go somewhere else because I'm looking too much into it right now, and that's not always a good thing. It's not always good. Good. All right, let's work up in that eye socket. This brush. Okay. Soften a little bit, but it's also with a separate value. Bring this, whoops, there, down just a little. Fade it out. Might be a little bit too much. I'm going to bring this part down some. Okay. It's very subtle brush strokes we have going on here. And I'm going to make it a little bit lighter and a little bit greener as I go to the right, as I move on to the right, just a little bit here, and this is going to make it kind of turn more. It might be a little bit too dark. It's hard for me to tell. Sorry, I got to block the camera for a second. All right, it's in the ballpark. It just needs to move up just a little, like so, like that. Quildar 27, hey! Glad you can make it. Happy King's Day. In Holland. That's awesome. Oh. Yeah. I'm doing great, Quildar. How are you doing? I'm glad you can make it, man. It's good having you here.
TWA2A.
All good. We went on a tasty walk, which involved going by 6 different restaurants for food. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Oh, that is fun. That is fun. Okay. That's really cool. All right, let's soften this part up here. I flipped the brush because I worked in the dark. I flipped it so that the top part wouldn't have any... Rose, are you locked out? Okay, Dad, go get the door for... So I flipped it so it wouldn't, like, spread the darkness everywhere. I'm watching over Dad today. So. He needs to be watched after sometimes. Work these transitions, and as y'all can tell, it's like the concepts are kind of the same for this as they are for drawing. Start with the bigger strokes, or you get the drawing, of course, start with the bigger strokes, and then you start breaking down smaller strokes in the interest of the larger shape, which still needs work. But that's the idea. What are you doing?
I'm looking at it.
All right, don't take anything.
I'm not taking it. I'm not
All right.
taking it.
Okay. Are you bored?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Do you want to see Maria?
Not necessarily.
No? So I'm trying to paint this in without making it too light, because it could kill the impression, which I'm borderline right now with it. It's getting close. So you got to be careful. This area right here is going to be a little bit greener than I have it. It's going to slowly, I'm going to try to fade it in. The thing is, you don't really need to paint this in that much. It's nice to have, like, you just kind of imply it, these areas. But you can definitely go through and get very detailed, but it's nice to have the darks kind of recede. All right, that was too light. Just to the very edge there, and then I'm going to darken it some. So that's actually inherently green with how I've mixed it, so I'm just going to go straight into it instead of mixing other colors on top. I put it in. It looks very troubled, like he doesn't want to be sitting. What do you know? Bring that same color over here. It helps speed your painting up without being reckless. If you can keep in mind 1 or 2 places where a certain value that you just mixed, a certain color goes, then you can place it in those 2 positions, which is quite nice. Okay, then this is weird. I'm going to go back up, same brush, just because it's small, it's easy to wipe, and I can get all the dark or light out of it very easily, but I want to go through and make this transition a little bit better here. This is going to lighten up. Kind of flows up in the head some. Keeping in mind the drawing. I'm looking at this whole shape right here, and I'll need to keep on correcting it. So even though I'm doing detail, I'm looking at the whole thing. You all have heard me say this a lot, but that's one of the tricks to doing details. It's very important. Okay, let's go through and shape the eye socket little bit up on the top where it meets the brow, because this area right here is very much underpainted compared to where everything else is. Okay, I'm just shaping this right now. This comes down just a slight bit, kind of a little bit. This comes up some there. That goes up. So, gosh, keep on hitting on the chords with all these brushes. I take the light brush. I'm going to put a little bit more light going along the top of the eye socket. That's what we do. It's kind of a greenish. If I'm looking at the whole thing, the whole area, this part right here, to my eye, is a little bit greenish. So I'm going to put that a little bit. And sometimes I might go through and put just an extra brush of color in just to push it slightly. It's okay to do that. All right, this might be a little bit light. Yep. So I'm going to bring it down some. This is very red because I've been mixing reds in. So we're going to get a significant amount of green, which will cancel that red out. Obviously make it greener. That's a darker greener value. Let's see if this works. That's better. We're going to go this way. I could go that way, but I'm going across the form this way. It gives it a nice three-dimensional feel to it. It's like the form is kind of coming. And really, the cool thing is I could really throw the paint down here. Okay, that's what I'll do. You know what? I'm going to make it really thick in these light areas so it just like pops. Let's do that. All right, so you got basically to do that, you got to not care about like painting over what you have. So I really got a lot of paint here, and I'm just going to clump it on really thickly. Hopefully this doesn't block the or mess the lighting setup for you guys. Here, and then there's a little bit here. Okay, there, and then I'm going to take some of this off. I'm going to go a little bit darker. Take some of that. It is going to be warmer. Transitional tone here. And then I'm going to go through and really cake this part on here. So this is a lighter, so this would be in this area up in here. Like that, the transitional spot. Let's go through and put a little bit here. This area right here, because I graded out when I was putting it on, needs to be darker. So I'm going to use the same brush, clean it a little bit, and I'm actually going to go through the pretty large section of swath of color here, and that's about it. That should be it. And it should be actually over that way though, because I'm going into the sideburns, so it should be there. Right there. Now, let's go into the light. Do I want another brush? Probably, but I think I can do it with a small brush though. I recommend big brushes. But for now, this should be okay. I'm going to take just a little bit of that color here. A significant amount of that white. It's medium, make it malleable. And then let's go through and add just a touch of red to it to make it a little bit pink, ever so slightly, and just a little bit of orange. There. Okay. It's pretty strong. This might be too light. And it is. That's okay. Where can I use this? Perhaps right here. Even though that's a little bit too light. That's okay. Here, let's bring it up top. And that's too dark. Here. There we go. That's a good area for it right here. It's still very thick. I don't want to waste that paint. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's really nice that we can have it pretty thick. So, all right, there. And so it was a little bit too light. So I'm going to take some of this, dole it down some. Let's take a lot of that, a lot of this. A little bit of, and so you just, you know, Don't be scared to paint thick. Very thick amount right there. Is that too light? No, that's good. And I'm just going to really put it on right there. It gives a nice effect and kind of let the brush do the job, do the work for you. Okay, I'm going to squint down. I can't go too far in here because this is starting to really shape this area, right? There needs to be that nice transitional value there. So here's what we do. Well, I still have this brush here. This is going to be probably a little bit light. No, actually, it's quite nice. Just put a little bit around that area, but it's just a little bit too pink. And maybe it was too light, but that's okay. It's still a little bit pink, but there's also pink in the nose. So while I still have this, I'm going to go to the nose, which is also something I want to make pop. Pop the nose. You got to pop it. This is probably good for the transition around the light shape. I'm just barely touching. Barely touching. Here, let's see. Maybe I can make this pop just a little bit too there. Just trying to build the paint up to give it a sculptural feel, right? Sometimes, like, you can paint soft, and that's good. Sometimes it's nice to try to paint a little bit bolder as well. I like doing that. Okay, so here, what do we say? Let's go and work this area up. I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to get a little bit darker. So that was the area which I was working. So I have that as a reference on my palette, judge off of. I'm going to go through. I cool it down some. It is darker. This is very thick paint. I'm going to go through and just make it a little bit malleable with just a touch. I can't see how much I'm putting. There it is. Okay. Just a touch of walnut oil. But you don't want to do too much oil. You never want to put too much on. So this is going to darken it some. Those areas. Right there. This comes up just a slight bit. We have this transitional area here. Okay. Transition's lost. This is lighter and it's grayer, but I'm not going to do that yet with this. I'm going to take this value up here because there is form up here that is lost that I have not worked on. I'm going to bring this here. This area right here, if I plumb line straight up, this comes in some. So that was the wrong value. That's okay. Let's go over to this side, see how this fits here. It's probably closer. This makes sense because I painted this when it was a different light for me. So I made everything a little bit too light to first go. There we go. This is actually here. That comes in. Okay. Let's get this back. So I'm going to go back, make this lighter but greener. So that was around this value right here. So I'm going to take some of this. I'm going to green it out. It's too much green. There. And then I'm going to lighten it just a little bit. I think that might be a little bit dark, but let's try it. Get a little bit of medium. Okay. There's a little bit. I think that's close. Okay, let's try this. Boom. That's better. Now it starts flowing up. In the brush stroke, you just try to get it as close as you can. But at the same time, you got to keep in mind, you're working this light here, and there can't be too much of a transition, which there kind of is. That looks like really smooth across its eye socket. That's not good. Where else can we use this value? Squinting down. Oddly enough, it might be a little bit warmer up here, but I'm just going to test it. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit here. Shape this. I can go back over it because I haven't really worked the form much in this area yet up top. And this area, if I plumb line, if I draw a line straight up from like this spot right here, this light shape is kind of at a diagonal. but very close to it. So I'm just going to mark it here, which this should be cooler. Actually, this actually works here, but it is probably a little bit more reddish or pinkish than I have it. And there's a light shape going across there, which I'll get. So we're just constructing. Gosh, I keep on painting my computer, I swear. Give me a second. Can't be good. Here. And then here. Okay, sorry. Also, before I do any of that, you know, one of the things that's really holding this back is the neck area, because I just literally didn't try with that. And when you have an area that's not painted at all, and then you have a very it's not finished, but a more worked up area, you might be thinking, why is that worked up area still not look that close to completion? It's because to our eye, the other areas are kind of holding it back, and we might not notice. So we go down and work on that neck and make this kind of flow a little bit better with the painting. Work on that, especially the ear. You know what? Instead of going through and working all this stuff up right now, I'm going to go through and fix those and get the impression back with that, because that's actually something that I should have done before, and I don't recommend waiting this long to fix it. It's something that really you should be working everything up at once. And I haven't done that. So let's go through and spend some time on this. So I'm going to squint down, get these values in. It's like really dark down there. It's dark, 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 dark. Compared to that black that I have, I can bring the light up here. So I don't care, like I could bring this down here, it doesn't matter, because I'll just bring the light up like that. Sorry, I kind of have to check because there's some reflection that I see from this angle with certain brush strokes that are going this way and that way. There's reflection, so I have trouble seeing it. So every once in a while I have to put my fat head in front of the camera. So we're squinting down. Essentially, this is very atmospheric in here. It just kind of flows into it. Flows. That is going to be lighter and richer in color. Hey, Rose. He's escaping. He's escaping again. Old man's walking. All right, Carmine. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, and thank you for watching. It's nice having you. And you guys speak Italian to me some next time. I need to get that back in my head. Carmine. It's Carmine, actually, probably. I'm calling mine, but... Alright, so this will help it to turn some. I'm bringing this value in, which is going to be actually warmer than I have it, or redder. I'm not worrying about that light part. I'm just worrying about the transition going in. Kind of brush it into it. No, I haven't checked them out yet, Quad R27. I'll go back and look at it. It's been a very, very busy weekend because I've been watching my dad. My mom was out of town, so I was watching him. And, but I still should have. You know what? That's no excuse. I still would have had time to check. So I'll go back and check the names in that stream. And then in the next stream, I'll come back and tell you why I'm better than those artists. How's that sound? I'm gonna get beaten up one of these days. All the painters just knock on my door. Yeah, definitely. Hey, do me a favor. Do you remember them? Can you just type the names out right now? And that way I can more easily find them, because I can go back to the other stream and look, but it'd be convenient to have them here. And I appreciate you doing that, because honestly, like I said before, one of the reasons why I'm really enjoying streaming is that it gets me out of my shell, because I'm in the studio most of the day and I'm not around as many painters as I used to. And I'm not always up to date on, who's who and the information out there. And so this is extremely helpful. It's extremely helpful for me to have, people telling me about this. Because when you're in school, you're around people who they're telling you things that you otherwise wouldn't have heard for yourself. There's much more productive conversation. It's really nice. But when you get out and you have to run a business, that can change. It can change. And some people are good at keeping up. I'm not. I'm not as good. And that's one of the things I've been trying to make an effort of doing as of recently. There we go. So this, I'm not going this way. I am going with the form that way. I guess going with the form technically, anatomically, would be going this way. I guess I'm going with the shadows more on this one. It makes more sense to me to kind of put my brush stroke in this direction and going down here. Just kind of softly go down. That was a little bit too much there. Whatever. Okay, so, and it would have been fine if I didn't do that. So I'm going to get another brush, and I'm just going to do black and white. I'm really going to make this as cool as I can. Let's bring some of this white. See, so this is how normally I'm holding my brushes like this. And I have my palette knife here, brushes here. And if I'm holding this palette, essentially the palette's on here. These brushes, you can't tell, but they kind of come through here like that. And it's all the same setup, right? I always hold a palette knife. And you don't need to, but the reason why I do is just to be spontaneous in my mixing. And it's just habit at this point. It's just habit. So, for example, it just comes in handy because I just need this to, I'm not going to mix anything, but I'm just going to bring this down here. Let's bring it here. Only reason is because I don't want to, I don't really necessarily need to mix those colors, which I can. I probably should. But let's just mix like this for now. If I need to do it differently, later I can. So this is limited palette. I got all the colors off that were not limited before. So y'all can tell, those of you who were here before, there was blue, alizarin, crimson, and maybe that's it. Anywho, this is just black, red, yellow, and white. That's all you need. Okay. Okay, you're going to send them on Instagram. That's cool. Totally cool. Totally cool. Here we go. This is going to be very, very grayed out here, but it's much cooler than I had it before. I don't know if y'all can tell. But I like this. The reason why I like it, I mean, look at that. It's so blue, and there's no blue in this. And different blacks make cooler blues even when mixed with white. Like, for example, I noticed Rembrandt brand of ivory black is extremely, extremely, extremely cool. And so it's not all blacks aren't the same. All ivory blacks aren't the same, which is kind of nice. This look a little bit grayed out here, but whatever. Okay. Nope. Let's do this. That. There. So you can be spontaneous and mix with your brush. And the reason why I mix with piles of paint is when I'm going to be mixing a lot in that area, it'll save me some time. The downside of it is that sometimes you kind of lose some of the variation in color because you're just going through and mixing off these. It's just why it's very important. You just have to keep that in mind when you're mixing with your brush. Okay. I'll go through and give it a little bit of shape here, just so it helps turn the form a little bit more than it is. Just a little bit more. Top here, so I'm not blocking the camera. Guys, if I ever block the camera, please tell me so I can move. There we go. I'm just trying to get an impression. That's a little bit green, but that's okay. Let's do this. Cool it down. Okay. Now, I'm going to actually take this. I'm not going to paint over it. I'm actually going to push it down that way and kind of fade it up into it. And lifting and then fading some. Okay. So I was kind of pushing the paint that way. The reason being is because it had titanium white, which is incredibly potent. So you got to be careful with that one. You got to be careful. You can't, I don't want that in my darks. It'll kill the transparency effect. It'll kill the transparency if done the wrong way. I'm going to do the same thing except a little bit lighter here. I'm slowly lifting. I fade it out. And I'm going to work this edge a little bit. and bring that shoulder in because the shoulder's like, I think, a little bit too far out. So I'm going to actually work and push it in some that way and use a little bit more color. Yeah. Oh, 1 second. My shoulder doesn't move that way right now. Okay. To me, I can't tell that stroke because of the light reflection. I'm going to do this. Okay, I can see it now. Let's bring this down. Get a little bit more color. And I'm going to actually... Okay. Sorry, you're not supposed to get this close, but I can't. My shoulder's just not moving that way right now. Press into it. Still trying to shape it. Bring it up some. I was actually trying to press in and lift some of the paint out. I don't know how successful I was because I can't really see what I did. And then we're just going to go here. I'm going to go this way this time. Here. Press. Like that. I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's try that. It's an awkward angle, but you know what? Whatever. It's not. Okay. That's fine. That's okay. It makes it kind of recede a little bit. It's kind of bothering me. And then what I'm going to go through here and do. See, if I go through and do this, it's going to look very milky. Titanium white is too opaque. It's compared to lead white, it's not. And you can still, I mean, yeah, it's more transparent, but it'll still kill the effect I'm going for in the light. It'll make it look milky, okay? And that's not what we want. So this, like if I did this, it would look a little bit too milky, too reddish right there. Well, that wasn't so bad. But I'm going to go back to my black brush here. Slowly work that edge. I'm going to slowly work this edge just a little bit. There we go. And soften certain areas here. Soften. Soften that some. And soften this. Just kind of flows down. We'll really make that soft. There we go. Kind of comes down. Just a little. Dry brush that in. Fade that. There we go. All right. That's a little bit less distracting for me. So titanium white, it's not opaque compared to like lead white, but it's still not what I want in the darks. It'll still make it look very milky, and it'll kill the effect. So that's what I mean. Does that make sense? Using that. Let's go through and get this background in. So we pretty much have our value range established already on the figure, so that's why I'm taking this off right now. Though it would be still beneficial to keep up, but I'm going to try to go through. If I need to put it up again, I can. But I'd like to go through and get a more accurate impression just by going through filling the background in, and then you have this as the light, right? Instead of having this contrasting that and kind of killing the effect, even though it's just killing it just a little bit, not that much. Right. There we go. Okay. Let's work on this form up here in the top of the head. What brush are we using for it? Let's work this area up here. I'll start from there. Cool it off some with that, which is nice. That's might be a little dark. No, we'll see. Cool it off. Don't want it too pink. That's a little too dark. Let's bring this down some. Probably around this area. About there. A little bit of form popping out there. Okay. Let's go through. Let's lighten this up just a little bit. I'm going to grade out. Somewhere around there. Let's try that up top. It's a little bit better. So I'm kind of like pulling it this way. Pull, pull, pull. Okay. So there's kind of his hairline is coming down this way. I'm going to use this as a transitional brush too right here. Kind of bring it over, soften this area just a little bit. It gives it a little bit more of a turn. Okay. Soften that. Then I'm going to take the same brush. I'm going to go into the white area. So I'm keeping it within this value range, which is a very generous value range. And then this is going to have a little bit more orange here. So we go through, we get the light value, and then we go through and get the color. And the color might be, the chroma might be very high or low. That's the color intensity might be high, it might be low. We adjust accordingly. And then we place it where it should be, which is working on the dry. So essentially we're juggling all these things. Okay, so this area right here is slightly darker. I'm just going to skip over to it. I'm going to go back here, and this is a very grayed out color. I'm going to go through and add some color, and I'm adding, it should be a little bit orange, and that's a proper shade of orange. So let's go through and put that in, and what it should do, it should be slightly darker and a little bit more orange, which it is. Maybe that's too dark, which is okay. Let's put it down still. And then what I'll do, I'll go over it with a slightly lighter value. So, what was it? Let's do this. It's a slightly lighter value here. Okay, it's okay to push the color some. I didn't put medium in, I could.
Hey, Dick. Why don't you stay here and watch Lewis paint for a little bit?
What?
Why don't you stay here and watch Lewis paint for a little bit? You want to sit over there and watch Lewis paint for a little bit? Yeah, he's doing this really
There we
cool
go.
portrait right now.
There we go. And so it kind of fades up there. And I just want to see exactly if this is probably going to be too dark. Sorry, I can't see. Did I just move this? No. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Okay. This is probably going to be a little bit too dark. That's close. Okay, but I'm going to bring this up over this way, so I'm here. I'll make that turn, and then I'm going to wipe this off, and I'm going to get a little bit darker going back over here. And it's a little bit more orangish. And it's kind of coming here, so we're connecting these values. Really have to sit up for this. To my eye, there's reflection here. This stuff, I will figure out a better setup where both of us can see this properly. Okay, and then, like I said, my value range with this brush, because it's such a nice shape for what I need. And smaller brushes you can wipe off easily. But I wouldn't use this in the light tone because it would just muddle the values too much. Like the very, 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 very light, like this area. It's going to be darker. I'm just slightly putting it here. So this is how we're making it, make it turn. That was a little bit, you know what? It needs a little bit more color. It's going to be somewhere around here. Quite a bit. Yeah. That's all right. I'll push it just a little bit. I'll push that. Push that in. And this is kind of, oh, that was not good. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It kind of falls down here. Falls into this. That's pretty sweet, actually. So now what I'm going to do, that area right there, this is, I'm glad I did that because I can show you all how I correct this literally with no effort because I'm so good. Okay. That might be too light. Going through adding color. So I get the value, light or dark, how light or dark it is, and then I go through and adjust the color. Right? And this actually needs more color. A little bit more. If that's too much, maybe, but I don't mind pushing it there. And the color shifts the value slightly too, as you all know. This should be a little bit lighter. Bring that down, and I'm going to make a little bit lighter one into that one as well. There. Let's lighten, add some color. Let's go there. Okay, so here the form's kind of coming down. It's okay to leave a little bit of a transitional stroke. That's okay. Here, let's go across. Okay. So we're slowly working the head. Now what's holding this up right now is this is just all the same. So if he's just walking in the hall, it's fine.
What?
If he's just walking in the hall, it's okay. Okay. Let's go with another brush for the transitional tone. I'm going to go with the small one because this one's actually working out quite nicely, and this is a Filbert 2, the one that I was really liking before. And sometimes it's just how I wrapped them the night before. Did I lose it? Did I lose it? No, this is it. The one I was using before was a Filbert 3. Okay. All right, let's get whoops. Okay. Transitional value. Okay, so if I squint down and look right here, then I need to draw this essentially close to how I see it, which is going to be blurred out some. but I'm not going to blur it out a lot. Like this right there looks just like it's cut out, right? It's cut out, it's laying on top. And you need to have some atmosphere falling across the form to make it, to unify it into the painting. So this might be a little bit dark, and I might blend slightly with it, but that's okay. Okay, so what's happening is I'm taking that light at the top in the background, and I pushed it into it, which wasn't good, but it's okay. I'm going to use medium here because I kind of want it to go into the paint instead of make it too mushy. Just very delicate work. And if I lose this drawing, I can always come back up with the light. Right? So you can always fix it. Now, this is a kind of cool thing. I'm going to kind of make a glow effect, maybe if I can. I don't know. This is, maybe I do it next time on this, once this dries. Okay, I have an idea actually what to do. I have an idea of what to do. I'm going to work this edge up. I'm going to worry about this top part. And then I'm going to go back over with another value and sweep it up into this value that I'm working with. All right. So I'm actually going to push this like it's a very reddish value right here. You'll see what I'm doing. I'm going to actually bring it up. And I am going to get just a touch of medium here. Let's try that. Okay. That's like a lot, right? Well, it's blending into the paint. I'm going to bring it up some. And we're going to lose the drawing a little bit, but I'm pushing it into the paint. Now, I'm only doing it in the lighter areas, or the light area of the head. So we're losing this drawing, all right? We're losing the drawing, but watch. And go back over a little bit. I'm going to saturate it a little bit more with this red. So it's essentially blending with the paint underneath. I'm going to fade it up some. All right. I don't know. Hopefully y'all can see this on the feed. I'll have to check. So I'm, like I said, I'll be constantly working on the technical aspect of the stream and trying to fix things and make things easier for you guys to see. So you don't have to worry about that. If it's messed up right now, you can't see it. But anyway, so the light area here, I'm going to go through. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to lose the drawing a little bit. I'm going to try not to, but I lose it a little. Look at that. You don't want, now you can overdo this too. But the cool thing is I can always bring it back down as well. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, as you can tell, I've lost the drawing. As you can tell, I screwed everything up. Or did I? So now we're going to push the color here. I'm really going to push this color. And then I'm going to go back over this and I'm going to reshape this head. And this is a good way of going back through and double checking the drawing. This is a great little way of doing that. So this is still going to be very warm. Just ever so slightly. Okay. Ever so slightly. Just building it back up. I'm intentionally going a little bit darker. And it's becoming milky here because it's blending too much and I'm not putting a solid color down yet. Mess that up, but that's okay. You can fix that. It's easy to fix on the side. Watch. Watch this. See, we can fix that easily. And then I'm not going to put as much color in it. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter there. I'm going to put actually a little bit of medium in as well. And this will make it lay on top a little bit easier. And the medium is only walnut oil, and that's it. This area is very poorly painted, by the way, and we'll get to that, but that's okay. Okay. Here. And just slowly work it. And it's okay if there's like a slight value here, the slight mark. In fact, because this is mixing with the red underneath, what I'm going to do, I'm going to green this out some so it should negate some of that red. It should cancel it out. Okay? Because it'll mix. There you go. Now we're shaping the head a little bit. And when I shape, I can press up to get a sharp. I can leave it, I can fall back to get a soft. It's starting to come some. Did I study art before I went to Florence called Art 27? Some, but Florence, Italy, at the academy actually taught like the technical aspects. That's where I really learned that, and I had to unlearn a lot of things that I already knew, bad habits and what have you. But I drew in high school. I will always doodle, and I went to the School of the Arts for a summer program here, and they taught us how to do collages. Collages, like high school course collages. That was the drawing program. They one time put a shoe on a stool and said, draw it. So it was very, very high-tech learning, right? And then I went over to Italy back in 2000, and I went to the Lorenzo de' Medici School of Art, and they weren't that great. It was express yourself, draw this, draw that. Lots of talk, not much organized curriculum. At the time, there was a movement against realism. Perhaps still is at that school. And I'm not trying to bash that school, but in the art, it was good in a lot of manners. They had a very good art restoration program. Very good, very good. I took that. There was a very good. It was a fresco, actually not art restoration. They might have had art restoration. They had a very good fresco course. And I took that. That was really nice. And that teacher was excellent. I forgot his name, but he was a very good teacher. And I was there for about a year. But while I was there, we found the Florence Academy of Art, and they know how to teach. It's just like, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And then the students become teachers a lot of the times in their second years, third year. And when I was there, like the last year I was there, because I was there for 4.5 years. And I remember I would just go, if a teacher wasn't available, I'd just ask one of my friends who had been there for some time and ask them to critique me, and I just listen to them and be like, all right, got it. Sometimes you need a fresh eye, but why don't you think of it this way? And it's not stuff they're making up. It's teaching of the school that is legit. And oftentimes they're reminding you of something, or they're saying, yeah, this is off, you messed this up, or this is how I'm looking at it. You know. All right, so here, I'm not just like solidly painting over. I'm kind of lifting. I'm kind of placing the brush kind of diagonal on the surface and kind of softly wisping it. So I'm kind of lifting it up as I do it and just kind of wisping this in because I'm trying to make this part fade back because I put, this color here, this red, and it can be too much. But what it does, it gives a glow effect and makes it turn a little bit more at the top of the head. So we worked it some, and we could keep on working this, but that's just a nice little, no problem, called R27. It's a nice little effect that I like to do. Now this area is bothering me because I lost the form here. And, I'm having a very good time with this portrait. And what I might do is work on it about 5-10 more minutes and then maybe pick this back up on Thursday. It'll still be a little bit wet, but I'll be able to go back in and do all all the same stuff here, which is quite nice. I didn't think unless you want to see something else, I can always start something else. But I really am enjoying this quite a bit. More than I thought that I would. You always get into stuff. Actually, I'm very glad that I did this stream because, like I said, I'm going to be making a video on this. I'm turning this guy into a Viking. It's going to be awesome. And I was going to go with a different face. Like, this is going to be the face now, but I was going to go with a different position until I went through in one of the streams and drew this face. Like, actually drew it, and I made the beard like all raggedy, which I might do here, actually. But it made me want to change my composition. And it was good because it was before I started. And that's why you do color studies. And I've fallen into this before where I say to myself, well, shoot, do I really need to do a color study? I know that position looks so cool up there. That's the one that I want. You think, just get to the painting, and when you get to it, it'll go quicker. But there's something about going through and drawing it. You're like, wait a second, that's pretty cool. And your brain changes. You see different things, and that's kind of what happened. And so I am painting them in this position, but it's going to be freaking awesome how I do it. Okay, gotta be careful. There. Squint. This comes over some. There's a light transitional value in between. You go here. It's going to be a little bit greener. It's a transition. I'm going to give it a little bit of a tooth. There. Okay. And maybe take this brush lighter. Start here. Green. Green lowers the value, so I need to up it again. I'm just going to go through, shape that. Which was too much, so I'm going to go back. This one, darker. Let's get it a little bit greener. And then I'm going to go through ever so slightly, and I'm drawing this shape. I'm looking at this shape right here. Okay, that's a little closer. This is a small painting, so it's like precision. I'm better at larger work, but this is fun. I really enjoy this. All right, let's get back to this ear because I've just been totally shirking my duties with this. I don't know why I do that. I know not to do this, and then I just totally ignore these areas that, honestly, it's just as important as the eye. It's too dark. That's okay. I'm going to bring that off. I'll lighten it in a second, but I'm just sculpting the ear with it. Presumably. There. Okay. This, I'm going to darken that, but I'm going to make it very deep red. Ears are like that. But it's going to be in this value range. There we go. And then, but before I do that, take. I need to get the right shape. I can't go through and detail the scorpion tail if this is not correct, can I? Okay. There. So just a little. And then I'm going to darken it some. Squint. It's not like black. Alright, brought that down too far. Let's get a mid-tone brush. Work within this range. It's ear, so it's a little bit red. The ear does have, it's not always just red, but this one especially is. It's a little bit ruddy. Like Bougereau has beautiful ears and very good contrasting colors and values. I think he's one of my favorite painters, William Bougereau. Oops. There comes up some. I'm worrying about the edge. I'm not worrying about the inside as much. I'm worrying about this edge, which I've totally butchered. This darker. Transitional value, that's very red. So I'm going to come in here. Probably need more red, but oh, that's okay. There. This comes in. I'm literally drawing with the tip right now. Comes up, down. Okay. I'm going to bring the light part of this kind of up a little bit with a mid-tone value. There. Let's go there. Okay, this part kind of comes down the top, which I might actually expand the ear out just a little bit because I think it does come out some. Comes down just a little bit there, and the ear comes out just a little bit, methinks. Here. I'm going to get a little bit of medium for this. I don't know if I got any. I think it did. I think I got a little bit. And let's add a little bit of color just to saturate a little bit more. A little bit more. Let's try that. Okay. And I'm going to not breathe. Okay, so that's too light, but that's okay. And it's too far out, but that was kind of on purpose, and I'll tell you why. Sound some? Because I can cut it in from this side, if that makes sense. This, I'm going to darken it a little bit. I'm going to really saturate this one. Saturated. I'm going to go back over this side here. This is coming down, and we have it here. And then at the top here. There. Okay. This is dark. I'm going to go through and shape this just a little bit. It's a little bit light, but let me see if I can get away with it. Comes in that ear. This is way too long. Comes in. Okay, wait a second. So, are those sunglasses?
Mm-hmm.
They are? Okay. Cool. And this part comes off some. Should be about there. So we kind of shape it. So we're shaping it, and then, the effect, we'll get the effect. But the main thing is getting the drawing right now. That's the main thing. That is the main thing. Let me fix something here. Okay. Boom. Right. We're going to go through and just unify this slightly. Just unify it a little bit. This kind of comes down some. And this comes in just a little. Okay. So this value right here is too light. It's going to need to be fixed. I'm just going to soften this. But it's in the ballpark. It's something we can work with. All right. I think I need to get going, but I'm going to pick this one back up on Thursday. So I hope you guys found this helpful. And yeah, sometimes things just kind of go a little bit further or longer than you think. So I'll go through on Thursday. I'm going to try to wrap it up on Thursday, work on the form around the head, correct the anatomy. I'm going to look at this with the light off to see exactly what I need to do because it's kind of hard for me to see. I'm going to check the ear out because that thing is very black and it looks very ugly, but I'm more concerned about the drawing and the lines of relationship. Yeah, you're welcome, Quildar27. Thank you so much for always coming here, man. You're awesome. That's really cool. Really cool. So I'm just starting. So that's really cool, man. I'm going to fix the beard and maybe get some detail into the hair, right? Maybe make it a little bit more than a black end. It'd be nice. And go through and get this form around the side, make it turn. There's a lot of things I need to do. Maybe bring the light up right here, make it pop out a little bit more and push the color. Yeah, we'll try to do that on Thursday. It'll be good. All right, you guys take care. Thank you. I will see you Thursday. Huh? If you what, Dad?
If
Uh-huh.
I come in for you,
Mm-hmm.
the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.